Hey guys, it's Kim and I am back, and for this video I wanted to share with you guys about my Stitches SoCal experience. And I know it's been a few weeks and it's taken me a while to get to this, but super busy, and I did have two other tag videos I wanted to get out there, and so now I want to go ahead and share with you what it was like to be at Stitches SoCal a couple of weeks ago. It was the weekend of November 14th, I believe, and I had a good time. So I'm gonna get started telling you all about that. But first, I did reference two tag videos that I did. I did the 20 questions tag video, and then I wrote my own tag. So I am going to link the playlist in the description box below for the tag that I wrote. And if you are so inclined, please do the tag. So many people are playing along. It is so wonderful to have everybody play along on that one. So thanks to everybody who's done it already. And thanks in advance for everybody who will do it in the future. As you guys already know, if you have been here, you know I am the crafty nomad because I'm all over the place when it comes to my crafting, and I do all kinds of things. What was I gonna say? I knit, I crochet, I sew, I burn wood. You can see evidence of some of the things I do. Paper crafting all behind me. And yeah, so I'm gonna get started telling you all about my time with or at Stitches SoCal. So that day, my plan was to go to the marketplace, possibly purchase some things. Wasn't really looking to spend a ton of money, but I wanted to see if there was something special that I might want that to come home with me. But mostly I went to take a class with Marley Bird, and she is definitely a crochet famous person, sort of like a Vicky Howell type of person. She is one of Red Heart Yarn's ambassadors, and I guess since Yarnspirations bought Red Heart, she is also, I guess, their ambassador too. So anyway, I took a class called Interwoven Crochet, and I'm sorry, but my phone is gonna die, so I'm gonna hurry this on up. I took a class called Interwoven Crochet, and it is a technique that is, I guess, it's been around for a long time, and the woman who does it a lot, her name is Tanis something, I can't remember, but I'll find her channel at some point or find her videos and link it down below. But she is actually called Interlocked, I think, crochet, but Marley shared that she couldn't use that term because Tanis has trademarked that, so it's called Interwoven Crochet. And basically all you're doing is it's like filet crochet, but you do 2 layers, and eventually they come together, but you are always only working one color at a time, one layer at a time. And so I will show you my sample, and this is something I try to teach myself because I did discover that Tanis woman on YouTube after, I don't know how, a pattern came up, and I was like, I want to do that. You know, always biting off more than we can chew, right? But anyway, I wanted to do this. It's a very beautiful technique, and if I can find some pictures, I'll sort of like pop some in here somewhere so you can see what this technique looks like when you really know what you're doing. I was just learning, and so basically I used Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, 100% Peruvian wool in the colorway Mink Heather, and in the colorway Bittersweet Heather. So it's a dark brown and it's like a cream color. So you need to have like some contrasting colors, and you make 2 layers. And so what you will see here is my 2 layers put together. And this is just beginner stuff right here. When you get really into it, it's so many beautiful things you can do. But as you can see down here, you can see the first level of brown, the darker brown, and then that's the second layer. And then if you can look right here, you see I have 2 separate ends on stitch markers because you work one, drop, put a stitch marker, go back and get the other one. So basically it's like filet crochet, only one color is normally where you would see just a square, an empty square, the other color is showing through that square. And on the one side, you get these vertical lines, and on this side, you get the horizontal lines. And this is made when you go back and forth. Anyway, I won't even try to explain it. This is as far as I got. And I had tried to teach myself on my own, and I was not able to do it. So I'm glad I took the class. Marley Bird was fantastic. And when we got in the class, she gave us, just as a thank you, a ball of yarn. And so that was very nice. And this is her yarn that she did with Red Heart Yarns. And it's called the Chic Sheep. And this one is, and it says Chic Sheep by Marley Bird. And it is 100% washable merino wool. And it's super soft. So she gave us a ball like right away, just kind of as a thank you for taking the class. And that was very nice. And so right before it was time for me to go, I decided that I should not come empty-handed, and that maybe I should make a bag for her. So I looked through my things to see, you know, where if I had any bags in process, and I did. So they were all ready to go. The only thing I needed to do was sew. And I had about an hour before I needed to leave when I had this bright idea. And so I did it. And so after she gave us a ball of yarn, I said to her at the break time, I was like, are you able to receive gifts? And she said, yes. Did you bring me something? And I was like, yes, I did. Anyway, I gave her the bag, and she was overjoyed, and she was so grateful and so excited about receiving a bag from me. And so I'll pop a picture in somewhere around in here so you guys can see me and Marley Bird. If you follow me on any of the social medias, you've already seen the picture, and you've already seen that Marley Bird has commented on my picture. So she's following my channel and following me on, not my channel, but following me on Instagram. And she's so cool because when other people started coming back from the break, she said, do you guys see it? Kim made me this bag. She was like, do you have an Etsy shop? Do you have a place? I was like, yeah, I have an Etsy shop. So I was able to give out my cards in the class. It wasn't a huge class, but she sort of opened up that door for me to share my shop with the other women in the room. So that was fantastic. And we just really had a good time learning this technique from her. And just really being in the room with her. She was very, very nice, and it was kind of like a surreal moment when she gets a text from Vicky Howell in the middle of the session, which I didn't get to meet Vicky Howell because I didn't take her class and I didn't see her on the floor anywhere when I was there on Saturday. I know that I took a little footage. If I still have it, I'll put some in of, you know, what it was like to walk around a little bit. But I didn't take a lot of footage. I went alone. I didn't have anybody with me, so I didn't have anybody take pictures for me or whatever. But anyway, I'll get back to that. Let me finish up this story about Marley Bird. It was just funny for her to get a text from Vicky Howell about, you know, hanging out together later. And it's just like, wow, these are like the crochet superstars, right, in the industry. So that was kind of fun. And just to really see that they're obviously, clearly they're just normal human beings, but they are fantastic. They've been able to create a life around where their career is in something that they love, and I can admire that in anybody. So it was really, really fun to meet her. I'm so glad. I feel like that giving her a bag was inspired by God, because it was really a last minute decision. So because of the last minute decision, I left home later than I intended. And so by the time I got to the Pasadena Convention Center, I got there in time to watch a little demonstration of the Eel Wheel Nano, which is a beginner-friendly, very beginner electric spinner, which I have purchased. I purchased one before, so Stitches SoCal, so I wanted to see somebody demonstrate it. So I went to the demonstration, and it was, you know, not what I had hoped it would be. There was a lot of the company that makes this makes 2 levels, and they make one that cost 3 times as much as the one that I bought, which is fine, because I probably sort of wish I had bought just saved my money and bought the bigger one. But because she really mostly demonstrated the bigger one, she wasn't from the company though. She was just somebody who maybe a distributor for them, I guess, and she had brought the bigger, more expensive one to sell, and she didn't have the beginner friendly one to sell. But that's what was sort of billed on the program, was that she was going to demonstrate the nano. So I get it. I guess, that's what you have, so you don't really want to be showing people the things that you don't have to sell. You want to show the things that you have to sell. I get that, but it did say she was going to demonstrate. So she tried to show me a little bit on it after I kind of, asked. But, it is what it is. I mean, I think that she wouldn't have been able to show me very much anyway. It was just for a moment, and it was a lot of fun to sit there and watch that. And then after that, I was like, I have to eat, because I literally woke up that morning, started sewing on the big project, the collaboration that I've been working on. I wanted to get some stuff in before I left that day, because I was going to be gone most of the day. And then I had that bright idea to make a bag for Marley Bird, which was a good decision. And I did it, and then I left. And so by the time I got there, I really was like, I better eat something. So I got in line. They had one concession stand open at the Pasadena Convention Center, so everybody was in that line. It was lunchtime, but I had to eat, so I did that. By the time my class was at 2, by the time I got food and ate it, it was like probably 1. And then after that, I said, well, let me walk around the marketplace just to see before I go to class. And I ran into a knitting guild I used to be a part of. They had a booth, and I'm trying to see if I have the little thing, yeah, I do, that they gave out. So I used to belong to a knitting guild years and years ago. I was in my 30s, called the El Segundo Slipped Stitchers. And these women, fantastic knitters. I think 1 or 2 people crocheted, but it was really a cool group of ladies. I think I did stitch and pitch with them once. I did a craft fair with them when I was with them. And it was a really cool group. But I ended up, I'm the crafty nomad. So I ended up wanting to do more than just knitting. So I found a meetup of just a crafty group meetup that I then started attending. So I stopped going to this. Anyway, they had a booth where they had several projects and project bags, and you could sit down for a minute and put some rows on some scarves that were going to be donated for charity. And they had knitting ones and they had crochet ones, and you could pick whichever one you want. And they were just telling people, stop by, if you need to take a rest right here, put some rows on, and we'll give you a gift. So I sat down. I wasn't tired, because I had really just only been there for an hour, and I had not been shopping. And so I sat down, put some rows on a crochet scarf, sat next to a fellow crocheter. And, even at lunch, I sat next to people, and people were so nice. The fiber community, for the most part, I have never had any issues, like, ever. Not just for the most part, but really ever. And everybody was friendly at the lunch table. Everybody was friendly, for the most part, friendly at the booths you went into. And it was really nice to sit down next to another crocheter and just sort of talk. So that was nice. And then when you got ready to go, after you put your 4 rows, they gave you a little gift. And it's just like a little notions pouch. And it has their label on it, or their name on it. And inside the notions pouch, it was a little baggie with different kinds of stitch markers, and one with their name on it, which I thought was really nice. And then they gave you a little patch that I don't know where I would put. but it says, I crocheted for charity. And that was very, very nice. So that was fun to do. Then I sort of ran around the, on my way out the door to my class, which was in another building. I just stopped and I sort of looked at different things along the way. And then I just had enough time after that to use the restroom and go to my class. And I already went over what the class was like. It was fantastic. So after it was over, I had one more hour before the marketplace closed. So I went back to the marketplace just to see if there was anything that I really liked. And I will say this, I went to several booths. I had gone before and I had kind of an idea of what I wanted. And I know it's not easy to do these types of things, but I do realize just from listening to people like Laurel and listen to people like Amber and from Ooh Ah Crochet, talk about what it's like to do a fair and how much you have to be engaged. You have to engage the people that are coming by. Well, even more so at something like this, because these are professional, like this is these people's livelihoods. And so there are people who would just try to grab your attention. And then there were people who there was one particular booth I was in, and it happened to be the lady who was selling the eel wheel, or the second level, the higher level e-spinner. Happened to be her booth, and no one paid attention to me at all. Like, had stuff in my hands to purchase, and I could not get anybody's attention. So after a while, I just decided I'll just go and order this on Amazon. I don't, rather than trying to fight for somebody's attention. And it wasn't as if the booth was overloaded with people. I think this was probably well attended, but it was not like a overflowing amount of people where people couldn't keep up. I didn't see that happening at any point while I was there. So I just walked away, and I mean, I wasn't going to spend a lot of money, but I was going to spend some money, and I think every sale counts. So I just walked away. So when I came back, I went back to another booth that I saw some amazing yarn at earlier. Oh, can I go back to the Marley Bird story? Sorry. When we finished Marley Bird, like I told you, she gave us a ball of yarn, and then I gave her a bag. Then at the end of the class, she started passing out her surveys. And then someone said, oh, they ask everybody to do the surveys online to try to save the paper. And she was like, oh, okay, because I guess they didn't tell the presenters that, because she had them all printed out and ready to go. And she said, okay, that's interesting. She said, because what I was going to do is I was going to give you guys another ball of yarn. I was going to let you go over to the table and pick a ball of yarn once you filled out the survey. So everybody's like, okay, let me fill out the survey so they can get the free yarn, the other yarn. So I ended up picking out this colorway. So now I have two colors now in my stash. Actually, I think I have some more of this. I believe I bought some of this already, but it's exciting that I have these two from Marley Bird herself. So, okay, so back to being in the marketplace at the end of the day. I went back to a store called the Twisted Skein, a seller called the Twisted Skein, because they had this beautiful, beautiful yarn. And this is what I decided to treat myself to. Only thing I actually bought, other than lunch. The name of the company is called Threadbare Dye Works. And I bought this beautiful, beautiful yarn. Look at that, guys. It's a turquoisey. The colorway is called Cyanwood or Cyanwood. I'll show you the colorway if I can get it up to the camera. See colorway. It's hard to see it, but there it is. It's a number 3 DK weight. It's called whole. The base, I guess, is whole grain DK. And look at how gorgeous that is, guys. Now, this was definitely a treat. This is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. and it's 231 yards, and it recommends either a US 5 through 7 knitting needle or a hook size G through I. And it is so beautiful. I love it. I love the blues, but I really love the that tweetiness of it all. I think this is so gorgeous. And these, I don't know where the company is actually. That's so weird. I have to look that up. But I loved it. So here's the difference. I went back to that booth. They weren't approaching me or trying to like sell me, but they were clearly paying attention to me, because as soon as I turned around to look toward where they were, somebody said, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Yes." And I went over, I took my yarn, and I bought my yarn. And they, you know, asked me after we did the whole transaction, they said, "Would you like a bag?" I was like, "Sure." And they had like a couple words between the two of them, as one was sort of like digging down, and she was like, "Oh, no, no, no," like that. And then he pulled out this bag and put my yarn in it and bagged it up for me. So let's first talk about the fact that they have a crochet hook and knitting needle. So that's already points, right? Love it when people, you know, show everything. And they did. There was booths that had examples of crochet and examples of knitting. And, you know, some of the companies there, it wasn't just about hooks and needles. It was also about sewing. It was also about quilting. It was about all that stuff. But and when she gave me this bag, she looked up and she said, "This bag was supposed to be given to people who spent $50 or more." She said, "But you're close enough." And she gave me this bag. So talk about great customer service. I spent just under $50, so she could have been like, "Oh no," you know. It was the end of the day. She gave me the bag, and I thought that was super nice. So overall, I had a fantastic experience at Stitches SoCal. It was my first one, and I'm sorry that I didn't go on Sunday. I generally tend to be at church on Sundays, and so I tend to try to do a lot of things like this on the weekends on a Saturday. But Zelda went, and so many Parlez-Vous Crochet, who I met at Rhinebeck West, she went on that Sunday. A bunch of people, I can't think of the other lady, but if you saw Z's video, which I'm sure you did by now, she showed all the fun that they had, and I missed out. I probably would have met Vicky Howell. So, but I still had a great day overall, and yeah, it was super fun. So thanks for watching this video. Before I close out, I want to again say thank you to Z for doing my tag video. So many of you all who are watching now have come over to my channel from her channel. I want to thank Ella for doing it from No Catchy Name. Z is Zelda NRJ3. Laurel of the Dabbling Hook has done it, and the Crocheting Canuck also did it. And so, oh, and Pam from Pamela's Crochet and Knit Corner, she just did hers, and they are all fantastic. I will link the playlist below. I think I've been rambling on. I will come back. I have not a lot of things I will be able to show you project-wise that I'm working on, but I got some like things from Michael's and a little bit of a haul, some books from Amazon that I'll come back and show you guys later. All right, guys, that's it. That's all for this video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching, and until we see each other again, keep it crafty. Bye.